Stewart came into the corner 10 to 12 miles an hour faster, had to whoa up, not sure which way Kyle was going to go on Montoya, and it finally settled out in favor of Stewart, who now leads Kyle Busch by half a second. Not a lot of room right there, was there? Kyle Busch has fallen 1.8 seconds back of Stewart.
I'm not so sure, Mike. I can't get a good look at that 18 car, but I think he may have scraped the wall at some point here in the last little bit. But one thing I'm noticing, if he did, it's like he's regrouped. And now his lap times are actually a little bit better than Tony Stewart's. So I'm not sure if he got in the wall and he had to slow down a little bit to see if there's any damage. And now he's going to drive back up there and see if he can chase Stewart down.
Let's have a look at this. Watch where it says Auto Club Speedway. That ball is white.
Yeah,
and
there you
now
go.
it's not.
He didn't pound it. He just kind of scraped it. But
Stewart has 2 wins in rain-shortened races, Loudon, New Hampshire, and Michigan, both in 2000. But let's not get the wipers and the rain tires out just yet. It's because we don't have any. We're going to try to go the distance, which is 200 laps, 400 miles today.
And when I look at our top 3 drivers, Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin, they pretty much have been on the same schedule as far as green flag stops. I anticipate around 102 or 103 they'll be on pit road.
Martin Truex in along with Regan Smith as green flag stops get going here in earnest. Clint Boyer is in as well. Now that we've crossed through halfway, Marcus Ambrose in.
We've seen a lot of mistakes made by drivers and pit crews on these green flag stops. Steve, how about Martin Truex Jr.?
Well, Larry, he's saying my car is a little bit tight, and he said it's also tight to get around the other guys. 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Krista?
Steve, a loose race car is what Clint Boyer has been dealing with most of the day. They made slight adjustments throughout the day to try to get him a little tightened up.
Kevin Harvick's in along with Greg Biffle. Matt?
Tremendous amount of brake dust, Mike, off those front wheels. Harvick's in the car, not responding like practice. Way too free on exit. Big air pressure change for Harvick. Krista?
Just like DW called, tape on the grill. That's what Greg Biffle wants to get that downforce. He also wants the track bar up.
Casey Kane, Mark Martin, and Brad Keselowski also in. Matt?
And the service already completed on Kenzen. Absolutely no grip, making headway. Big air pressure change from Jimmy Finnegan, the guys.
Montoya pits. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. along with Joey Logano and Ryan Newman. Krista. Oh, Matt, excuse me.
And Ryan Newman is reporting possibly sprinkles over in turn 2. He says we're making a lot of headway on this 39 machine, but he still needs it snugged up. Krista.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been complaining of no rear grip. The Junior Nation is going to love this. He said, my car is good now.
Thanks, Krista. Brad Keselowski too fast entering the pits. He'll get a drive-through penalty. In last year's race, there were only 2 speeding penalties the whole race. Today, we've already had 4. Regan Smith, Bobby Labonte, Joey Logano, and now Keselowski. Carl Edwards, Paul Menard, both on pit road. Here's Steve.
Carl Edwards saying that his car has gotten better. Now, Mike, the adjustments this time, 4 tires, a packet full of fuel. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, and they're going to make a track bar adjustment for Carl Edwards. He's saying the balance on his race car is getting better. They also take off a windshield tear-off. 4 tires for Carl Edwards.
So the front 5 have not pitted. Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon.
when I watched the lap times of Stewart and Hamlin running second, Hamlin was cutting into Stewart's lead a little bit. It's almost like Stewart looked back and said, whoop, think I'll pick the pace up a little bit. Yep. He picked up a couple of tenths.
J.J. Yaley, too fast entering pit road.
And Mike, I think now that we're past halfway, a lot of these drivers and their crews are thinking, what can we do to get to the end of this race now? It's honestly, after this stop, it's a two-stop race to the end.
Here are the leaders. Stewart, Hamlin, and Busch. 1, 2, 3. Coming down pit road. Who will get out there first as Jimmy Johnson gets the lead? Dick?
Well, Tony Stewart on the right-hand side of your screen. Just some minor changes to that car. They do not want to change it very much. He would like to loosen it up a little bit, but they're afraid to mess up the middle. Steve.
Well, Dick, Denny Hamlin's car has gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. His car started out tight. He said, just make a little bit more of an adjustment. We're going the right direction. 4 tires for Denny Hamlin.
So only Jimmy Johnson and his Hendrick teammate Jeff Gordon remain on the racetrack. Everyone else has made this pit stop between lap 100 and lap 105. Now, also not yet pitting AJ Allmendinger was one of the first in, so they've all been in. Krista.
Mike, Denny Hamlin going in the right direction. Well, so is Jimmy Johnson. They've been making big adjustments. 2 rounds on each of the last stops. A smaller adjustment here. They are moving forward, and that's what they want. Is it's a 4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson.
Kenny Schrader makes his stop along with the 2 BK cars. Landon Castle's car stopped on pit road. Looks like they may try to turn him into the garage area.
Well, we've run over 200 miles here, as we've seen over 200 miles per hour, a lot of RPM. You go that long, it starts getting a little bit tough on these engines.
Yeah, that old engine tongue will start coming out that tailpipe, tapping you on the shoulder and say, hey, man, give me a break. Not that kind of break.
After leading for the 2nd time today, Jeff Gordon comes to pit road. Dick?
And the fact that he has been able to stretch his fuel to this point, Mike, may prove important later in the day as the rain comes nearer. They're going to try to get the car so that it will run better in the bottom. The bottom lane is where Jeff Gordon says he is being beat.
Jeff about took his gas man there back out on the racetrack with him. He was trying to get every bit of fuel that he possibly could. Let's take a look at it here. See, they're changing the left side tires, trying to pack that car of Jeff Gordon's full of Sunoco race fuel, and he just didn't get it out, barely at the last minute.
Now look at the white line.
Yeah.
That results in a penalty because equipment was removed from the pit box.
Equipment here. Just got to do is stop and go.
Yep.
You want to do it? Right away as soon as you can.
So,
Looks like
Mike, that's
everybody's
about
okay.
7 mistakes we've seen made.
Yep.
5 drivers speeding, Jamie McMurray with loose lug nuts, and now Jeff Gordon dragging equipment from his pits.
Will that be a stop and go or a drive-through
I
penalty?
think that's a
Drive-through penalty.
Yeah.
You just have to
believe so.
maintain pit road speed all the way down pit road.
Last time we had a caution-free Sprint Cup race was October of 2002 at Talladega. Dale Jr. went to victory lane.
I just continue to look at Tony Stewart, and as we're riding with Clint Boyer now in the 15 car, Clint's back in the 14th position. But back to Tony Stewart. Think back to August of last year. He had not won a race in 2011. He said, we do not belong in the chase. We will not do a service to our race team being there. He makes the chase barely, wins 5 races, wins a championship, and look, he's picked up right where he left off the end of last year.
And I have inquired across the board, team members, other competitors, what do you think made the difference? And every one of them, to a man, said,
Rain down there at 3. Don't stop for rain at 3.
we got weather here, boys.
Raindrops in turn number 3 put us under caution for the very first time today. Here's Jimmy Johnson. Let's see what we see on the lens of the close onboard camera.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Okay, Mr. Crew Chief Larry Mike Reynolds, what are we going to do? We got some rain coming. We need some tires if they go back. We got to stay out, right?
Well, I think we do. As long as it's raining, Michael.
Well, some of these leaders must think the rain is going to... Oh, Stewart! He threw the feint on Denny Hamlin, and I don't know if Hamlin was committed or not, but boy, Stewart sure gave it the old drop, dive, and recover right there.
I think old Smoke's been using every trick in his bag today.
I think so, too. Krista.
Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canals want to just keep knocking out these little changes. They're making improvements on the track. They want it to continue. Jimmy saying the higher he goes on the track, the looser he gets. Steve?
Well, Krista, the 11 car was committed to pit road. Crew Chief Darian Grubb telling Denny, I think this is just a few drops. The heavy stuff's not going to come through for a while. Again, just a little bit tight in the center for the 11th car of Denny Hamlin.
Well, all of those drivers are banking that we're going to go back racing.
Let's see, is it raining or is it not? Here comes Stewart into the pits.
But Hamlin is pretty committed right there. I mean, he's down there. He's pretty committed. If anybody got snookered, it might be the 18 car not deciding what to do.
Very fortunate. You could see the leading edge of this major Pacific storm just starting to move across the speedway. Generally light to moderate rain. There's a speedway. Here's the band that's moving through Fontana now. More of the same. I'd say another 15 or 20 minutes of this light shower activity. Looks like there's a little break there, but beyond it, all this activity is moving from the west towards the east and slowly from the south to the north. So it will gradually move over the speedway. This is just the leading edge of it. So pretty much more of the same in terms of what they're seeing out there now for the next 15 or 20.
All right, then it gets heavy.
It will definitely get heavy. The atmosphere is going to moisten up. The rain will likely increase over the next hour or so. And then once this band moves over, it's going to be raining pretty consistently.
See, Jimmy Johnson, his car is smoking.
Yeah, what's going on there? That's got to be an engine problem of some sort.
Fluid or oil coming out?
Yeah, that looks like it's something under the hood, and the smoke's coming out the back of the car. What a terrible break for that guy. Unless it could be a great break, it starts raining a little bit heavier and he gets a red flag right here. Maybe it saves him.
Yeah, he was inside the top 10. Let's take a closer look and see what happened if we can determine. Not much.
You know, you wonder if he picked up some debris. It's so late in the race, you wouldn't think an oil line had worked its way loose. Maybe perhaps some debris off the track cut an oil line.
Let's check in with Chris Devoto.
Well, Chris, I'm down here in the 48 pit. They have had a little bit of radio kind of feedback all day long, but they had found out about the smoking situation basically from other teams. The 88, their teammate said, hey, why are you guys smoking? Jimmy, if he was trying to tell Chad, Chad couldn't hear. Chad just complaining about the radio situation. They're trying to figure out what the issue is right now. They were one of the teams that came in to pit, just making a small adjustment. But right now, they're as confused as anyone. Helmet's just going on the crew. They're trying to figure it out as we speak.
All right, well, thanks, Crystal. Let's listen in on the radio communication for Jimmy Johnson's crew.
We got oil coming out of our car somewhere. Yeah, you got oil leaking somewhere. Because we do? Yeah. Why? What makes you say that? Why do you say that? Well, because 17 told us we did, and there's smoke coming out of the back of it.
Thanks, Chris. 129 laps, and Tony Stewart is your winner. His second victory this year. Dick Berggren is standing by. It's damp, but it's a legitimate victorious celebration, Dick.
Indeed it is. Tony has been hugging his team. You are doing so incredibly well. Are you driving better than you ever have before?
I don't know. I'm definitely not. I mean, I turned 40 last year, and I'm definitely not losing anything with age here. So, you know, but I've got awesome race cars, and it starts with all of our guys at Stewart Haas Racing and the Hendrick chassis department, and especially here at California, the Hendrick engine department really shows up here. So thank you guys back there in North Carolina and, you know, Office Depot, Mobile One, U.S. Army, Quicken Loans, Outback Steakhouse, Chevrolet, just everybody, and Steve Addington and these guys, and these guys back at our shop. I've been with them most of the winter, and they've been busting their butts, and it's we got really good race cars.
All green flag pit stops today, not a single mistake by anybody on pit road. How hard do your guys train?
They train real hard. I mean, Joe Patet just he does a great job as our pit stop coach, and we got a really good staff of guys that work these guys out in the gym at the shop, and you know, they do a lot of pit stop practice. So everybody does. I mean, everybody down through here, all these pit crews work really, really hard. But you know, I'm proud of our guys. They're a fun group of guys, and you know, they you know, they're one unit when they're all working out at the shop, and then when we get to the racetrack, we're on the U.S. Army Chevy, or you know, the Office Depot Mobile One Chevy.
Congratulations, Tony Stewart. 2 wins in the first 5 races this year.
He's your winner as we check the unofficial results. You heard from quite a few of these guys. Junior third, Carl Edwards fifth.
Look at Kurt Busch in 9th, top 10 for that team. And Jimmy Johnson, you know, he had that Christmas sweater on in the opening, said how much he loved Christmas. It's got to feel like Christmas this week. He got 25 points back on his appeal earlier, and now this 10th place with a broken car, that's amazing.
And he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel at the talk. He had a great week back in his home state of California. Brad Keselowski, the winner in Bristol, said, hey, you know, this really isn't my kind of track. Wound up 18th.
Fast car for Jeff Gordon, 26th place finish. Those hurt. Another guy that had a good car and wound up in the 30s is Jamie McMurray because of pit road problems. This thing went fast, Chris. You make a mistake, there just wasn't any time to recover from them.
And pit road problems also costing Matt Kenseth a little bit later on. But Jeff Gordon, yeah, actually running well late and had that problem late in terms of when this race was officially called. And those are your Auto Club 400 unofficial results.